You managed him, yeah?
No.
Did in that spell where was he not there at the time?
No, he wasn't there. No, we didn't have that good a player when I was there.
축구팬 여러분 안녕하세요. 최근 프리미어리그 프로덕션에서 제작한 켈리 앤 라이티 쇼에서 손흥민 선수에 대해 집중 조명했습니다. 지금까지 다양한 영국 매체 콘텐츠를 리뷰해드렸는데요. 이번 영상은 손에 꼽힐 정도로 손흥민 선수에 대한 다채로운 이야기를 긴 시간 동안 소개합니다. 먼저 213경기에 출전해 113골을 터뜨린 아스날의 전설 이안 라이트는 손흥민 선수의 정신력과 훈련량을 볼 때 100호 오래 걸리지 않을 것을 알았다고 말합니다.
100 Premier League goals for Heung-min Son in 260 appearances and 50 assists in that time, which is very nice symmetry in all of that. Look, it's not been his greatest season, but that is a huge achievement for him.
Magnificent achievement for him. From Korea, come from Germany, come here. Didn't know too much about him when he came. But look, it doesn't take long to see that depending on his mentality and how hard he wants to work, what he would be capable of doing when you look at what he's got. He's got pace, he's got left foot, right foot, brilliant work rate. You think to yourself, if he gets it right, he's going to score a lot of goals. And it doesn't surprise me he's done that. Unfortunately, he hasn't won anything with his club, which is a shame for him, simply because when you're scoring those goals at that level, you really do want something. You do. You want to put him in that bracket. You do kind of need those trophies.
다음으로 영국 매체 미러에서 기자로 활동하면서 CNN 스포츠의 수석 스포츠 분석가로 활동하는 데런 루이스는 흥미로운 이야기를 합니다. 과거 손흥민 선수가 토트넘에서 첫 시즌 적응에 실패하며 본인의 역할에 대한 의문이 있었고 팀에서 뛰고 싶어하지 않을 때 한 사람이 손흥민 선수를 설득하는 대단한 일을 해냈다고 하는데요. 손흥민 선수의 성장 과정과 그를 향해 칭찬을 아끼지 않는 데런 루이스의 발언 함께 들어보시겠습니다.
Amazing achievement for Son.
Yeah.
For an Asian player to come across.
I think the thing about Son, I remember when he arrived, he came from Bayer Leverkusen for around about £10.75 million. In his first season, he hated it in the Premier League and he wanted to go home. And Daniel Levy, the chairman, did a superb job persuading him. But stay in Premier League football. You're going to be really good here. And he started to improve. His English over the second, the third season began to improve as well. He's been exceptional for the club. There have been many occasions where Harry Kane's not played, and against big teams like City, for example. Everyone's thought of City going to steamroll him, and he's been the difference. And you talk about his assists record. I think that's key because he has that creativity in the final third to unlock so many high-class defences. And I think even at 30 years of age, which he is now, he could easily play for one of the top teams in the Premier League and in Europe. He's only scored 7 goals so far this season. And so from his point of view, it's Premier League goals, that is. For his club and country, it's 17. But you take out the country goals and the FA Cup goals, for example, it's only 7. And so by his standards, it's actually quite an underwhelming season. But I think lots of people worry about if Spurs lose Kane. I'd be just as worried about if Spurs were to lose that boy.
Yeah, and that just shows the development from that first season where, as you said, he didn't want to be part of it. He didn't settle. He didn't feel like he knew what his role was. And the development of him as a player has been incredible.
Incredible. And it's incredible that Darren's managed to shoehorn some praise in there for Daniel Levy. I'm not sure the Tottenham fans would be too happy with you at the moment. But, he's absolutely right. I mean, if it was down to Daniel, he's done a good job persuading him to stay. But the boy is one of the best trainers you're ever going to see.
영국 매체 더 부트룸은 위대한 기업 중 하나라는 기사를 공유하며 손흥민의 토트넘에서의 업적은 해리 케인의 존재로 인해 때때로 가려지기도 하지만 이제 토트넘 역사상 가장 위대한 선수 중 한 명으로 확실히 자리매김했다고 전했습니다. 손흥민은 전설적인 공격수 테디 셰링엄을 제치고 토트넘 소속으로 두 번째로 많은 리그 득점을 터뜨린 선수가 됐는데요. 프리미어리그 프로덕션과의 인터뷰에서 팀 셔우드는 손흥민이 토트넘에서 프리미어리그 통산 100호를 넣은 후 극찬했다고 말했습니다. 팀 셔우드의 발언 육성으로 직접 들어보시겠습니다.
Is one of the best trainers you're ever going to see.
You managed him, yeah?
No.
Did in that spell where was he not there at the time?
No, he wasn't there. No, we didn't have that good a player when I was there.
You brought in Harry Kane.
Yeah, Harry Kane is a baby.
Baby Harry.
So no, they've got. I think I've been very critical of their recruitment over the years, but certainly we're getting it right around this time. Alderweireld was coming in as well as another great servant to the club. It's just amazing, and the goals he scores are not tappings.
Fantastic.
You know, left foot, right foot, then bends into. Do not
lend the whole team.
Lend him. You know, yeah. Right, the Burnley goal of the season. You know, you send him on his right foot, and he can hit it with his left. But people don't know where to send him. And they say, well, he goes in there. If you let him in there, he'll do the same with his left foot. But he's just a credit to the football club, and a great example to all the young players coming through. You know, because he works so hard, humanity of the man, and he's just a fantastic leader. I think he's a real leader of that football club.
손흥민 선수는 인터뷰를 통해 프리미어리그 100호 골이 다른 아시아 선수들에게 영감을 주기를 희망한다고 말했습니다. 또 축구를 시작하는 젊은 선수들이 프리미어리그에서 놀라운 일을 해낼 수 있다는 믿음을 가질 수 있도록 모범이 되고 싶다고 말했는데요. 이에 패널들은 손흥민은 이미 아이콘이며 기준을 제시하는 선수라고 말하면서 어린 선수들에게 영감을 주는 선수가 되었다고 평가합니다.
There's a wider significance as well. You mentioned it, right? He's become the first Asian player to reach 100 Premier League goals. What does that do for Asian players who potentially want to have a Premier League career and reach those kind of heights?
Well, he's an icon. He's a standard bearer, if you like. When we would cover the early games, the market hadn't really been cracked in terms of bringing Asian players over, Asiatic players over. We had one or two who had done well, like Inamoto, for example, who'd been at Arsenal and Fulham, but there hadn't been too many who had come here. We'd had Park Ji-sung, obviously, at Manchester United, and one or two others. But somebody like him who's reached the levels that he has, well, in the early days of him being here, there used to be a small band of journalists who had come over simply to interview him. There'd been a lot of pressure on his shoulders to be, you know, somebody who would be almost open the floodgates, if you like. And he has been an inspirational figure for all of the players, the young players. You see the rise of the national side and the players and the investment that is starting to bear fruit. You look at the World Cup, you see the rise of the Japanese, of Japan and some of the other Asiatic countries, and you realise that the Premier League influence, players like him are inspiring generations, and I think we'll start to see that in the next couple of World Cups. Sorry, go ahead.
Simply because. As much as like they mentioned, like if it was Daniel Levy that convinced him, it's a great move simply because of his stature, the way he plays. I'm sure there's a lot of players in Asia and that who may have that kind of same stature, same ability in that, but feel like they won't be able to come and settle. And for him to come, settle, and then like thrive, 200 goals. It's when you see it, you can beat it, and that is
absolutely
that's
he lives for the game, right?
Yeah. It's so lovely. I saw a video of him with the kids. Did you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
And he's just a lovely bloke as well. You know, so everybody wins.
How many years has he been here now?
Well, I think it would be something like 8 years.
8 years. I mean, not to one Tottenham fan has ever seen him out in London. Never. He stays at home.
Never caught on
He's
camera.
married to the game.
Never caught on camera.
마지막으로 패널들은 손흥민 선수의 숨은 노력에 대해서 이야기하며 압박감을 뛰어넘어 대단한 선수로 거듭난 손흥민 선수를 극찬합니다.
You talked about the Korean journalists who came over. There's always that set of Korean fans who carry the Korean flag to the games and will be there just to support Son.
Absolutely, and this is what I'm saying. There is that pressure, if you like. I mean, I was about to make the point that he came over here and excelled at his craft, but he learned a different language. I'm always, whenever people talk about players who come from a different country, not necessarily a different league where you still speak English, but a league where you don't speak English. You have to adapt to the league, adapt to a new environment, adapt to a new society, learn a new language, then learn the language of football. You know, it's also very different, but what he's achieved every time, when he first used to give those interviews to the Korean journalists, they were in his native tongue. And then eventually they were in English, you know, because, and what he's saying in that moment is to all those players in his homeland, you can do this too. I've done it. You can see it. You can be it. And I think he's been an inspirational figure to get into the 100 club. That he's not just been a great player. He's entered almost a Premier League Hall of Fame, if you like.